inventory cycle count program. As Eddie mentioned, the automated inventory cycle count is one single setup screen that will make the implementation go pretty quickly and very easily. We have this program located under physical count sub-menu under the inventory management. The program integrates into physical count entry program or into the count cart entry program. As you go, schedule your items to be counted throughout the year, and eventually then you can also optionally tell the system where you would like to push those data for the people to verify the counts and enter into the system. We're going to go ahead into the cycle count program, open up the screen. All right, so the first thing that you are going to do when you access to this screen is obviously select the warehouse. This product is built in with the feature that each warehouse can have its own schedule. Each warehouse can have its own time when it generates the cycle counts, and you can designate people to get automatic emails by warehouses as well. So I'm going to go ahead and select the 00 warehouse. As I select the warehouse code here, it loads the data into the middle grid, as you can see. So this is showing us all of the inventory items that are under the 00 warehouse. I can basically go to 001 warehouse, and that also refreshes with the data for that warehouse. So right now I'm at the 00 warehouse. I selected my warehouse code. It loads the data. Here in one screen that we have on the top section is the filtering. That helps us to filter the data so that we can perform updates and update the cycle counts of those items. The middle section is really where you're going to be doing the updates. You're going to tell the system, now I would like the item to be counted 10 times, 1 time, or 2 times throughout the year. And then the bottom of the screen is really where you would see some summary information, and you can perform some updates here as well. I'd like to start talking about the special code that we have called the yearly cycle count. This is a field that we are going to update by item to make the accounts automated. When you first set up your screen, I'm going to go to 001 warehouse so you could see all of my items here are categorized as -1. So we're talking about this field, yearly cycle count, which you see on the selection area, and you also see on the grid below in the middle as well. And you also see in the summary section YCC. So -1 is when you first start implementing the system, the items are all going to be categorized as -1. So this tells the user that these items have not been assigned to any category yet. We can quickly put the filter here and say, okay, show me all the items that are -1 if you want to. Then that will refresh and show all the items that are -1. So this is also very helpful when you have already set up your counts, and then now you go back after a month into your schedule and you see that there are items in there with the code of -1. You know that there are new items in the inventory that hasn't been categorized to any count code yet. So I could quickly select -1 here, and then it will refresh the data here for me. I'm going back into now 00 warehouse, and I'm just gonna remove it again. Okay. All right. So we have another special code for yearly cycle count. It's called that number is 0. So 0 means that if I selected the item, I can go and check this checkbox and tell the system that I want to update this to 0. And if I'm updating this item yearly cycle count to 0, I'm telling the system that I reviewed this item and I don't want this item to end up on my cycle count. So I'm explicitly taking this item from my count process. Here we can also quickly click on the grid on the top, and as you can see for the update, it's automatically selecting all of the items that have been filtered from here. I can quickly go here and I say, okay, give me all of the items that I'm going to be counting 3 times, because I have been predefined this already ahead of time. I have 13 items that I'm going to be counting I have 19 items that I'm going to be counting 3 times a year. Here on the summary, that information shows that I have 19 items I'm counting 3 times a year, as you can see down below. Also, I would like to point out your attention to this total section. It says how many records that we have, how many is filtered, and how many is selected. So I can click on the corner, it automatically selects the entire data, or I can just go into a couple of items, select them, and then do bulk update. Instead of these items to be counted 3 times a year, I would like those items to be counted 2 times a year, and I hit the sign button. That will change these items from yearly cycle count code from 3 to 2. Have you guys had any questions? Okay, if you have any questions, you can also send me a chat message here. We can reply to those as we go. Another option of our inventory cycle count program is remaining count. A remaining count is really helpful when you have an item that you're planning to discontinue. If you know that the item is going to get discontinued, you could go and put the remaining count to be 1 or 2 or 3. So basically what you're telling the system is, I would like this item to be counted 2 more times, and then after two more times this item is counted, then I would like this item not to count it anymore in the entire life of the product. So as soon as that, after second time this item ends up into the count sheet, the system will automatically turn this item off, and it will not come into the cycle count anymore. So that when we were saying that this software is also helping to do product life cycle, as you could see from the beginning, when you bring a new item, it goes to -1, and then you put the remaining count and it automatically switches to 0. It's kind of, you can easily see which items are discontinued, which items are still active, and which items you haven't assigned to any category yet. One other feature we have here is force count next time, FCNT. A lot of time you're going to find there are some discrepancies in the warehouse, and you could, the item is going to be counted, let's say 3 months from now, and you don't want to wait for that. You could go and check this checkbox, force count next time. And as you're checking this checkbox, or you can highlight, let's say, a group of items and do it from the bottom below here, force count next time. And all these items will end up into my cycle count for tomorrow morning. Okay, you can easily also select those entire data and then undo your force count next time flags as well. Another option we have, hold, is a really helpful option. Sometimes you have some issues with the item that you would like to do some investigation, and you don't want the cycle count to take place for those items until you're dealing with the vendor or customer, whatever the issues are, and then you can come back and take out from hold, and the system will push that item into the count sheets in the future. I wanted to kind of show you when you finish setting up this entire system based on your count code, it's going to generate this summary count on the bottom portion of the screen. That tells us how many items during each day in the morning we're going to be counting. So per my setup now for 00 warehouse, I'm going to be counting 6 items. So these are the totals. 6 items each day, and then we'll finish entering the information and then perform the updates. As all my setups is complete, I have a way of scheduling this task to a job that will run on the background and will generate my cycle counts on a daily basis. So what we need to do after we finish the setup here, we can go to the scheduler, and then on the scheduler we could tell when to run this task. In my setup, I have it to run at 2 a.m. automatically on Monday through Friday, and this will go run on the background, and then in the morning when you go to work, you'll have an email in your mailbox saying what items that you need to count today. We go back into my screen. I will show you an example of how the cycle count email is going to look like when you get on your mailbox. It's a CSV file, but you could easily open up this file with an Excel editor. And here you're going to see the information of what items that you need to count, the bin location, the lot number, when the item was last counted, and the frozen quantity, and you just have to simply put the counts in here. Now, if you have a system that integrates with any kind of warehouse automation system, you will be able to enter the numbers directly from your scanner. So this will be just a list that you need to work on, but you really don't need to go enter the counted quantity in the column here and then go back into the system and do data entry. If you have some sort of a scanning solution, then you could utilize that scanning solution to enter the data into the system. Okay, back to our screen here. We have an exception days that we can plug into the system by warehouse, telling the system to skip those days when it's going to generate the cycle counts. We have an option of manually generating the cycle counts on demand. In this case, I will be using the manual generation process to demonstrate you the generation process of the cycle counts. I'm going to go into the options screen here. On the options screen, if you would like to stop completely the cycle count program for whatever reason, you could go and change the status from active to inactive, and this will stop the system. It will not generate anymore until you go back and change it to active. We have one feature that is set count quantity to on-hand quantity. When you have this checkbox selected, when we create cycle count inside the physical count data entry, I think I should have some data in here already. As you can see here, this is the standard physical count entry program. When the system generates this data into the physical count entry, it automatically copies the quantity over to the next column. So some companies want their employees only to focus on the items that are off and not do any data entry, and they're okay their employees to see what's in the bin location. So this is one way of doing it. And some companies, they do not want the employees to see the actual counts that the system is generating. They just want them to enter for every single item, whatever they counted in that particular location. So that's an option for you. You could either turn on or turn off. In my case, it's turned on. That's why it copied from one place to another place. So basically, the counted quantity is the same as quantity on hand. But you can obviously override this. So that's this option. We have an option of include zero quantity on hand items if you would like. If the item, if it's a time for that item to be counted, and that item shows zero, do you want to verify that zero or not? So it's an option you can turn on and off. Roll over YCC count from large to small. This is a very nice option in terms of making your warehouse employees always busy in the morning doing the count. So like when you have A items are probably going to be counted pretty quickly, and then when you're done counting with A items, then now with that option on, you're telling the system that you need to pull more items to be counted daily from the category B. And then if you're done with the B as well, go down to category C and on and on. So this way you're kind of forcing them to maintain the number of items that they need to count each day. Going back into the options screen, here we have two different options that we can say where do we want to generate into. We want to generate the cycle count into the physical count entry program, or we would like to send it to the count cart entry program. And if you select physical count entry program, then there's another option that you would like to insert to the existing one or not. So if this checkbox is not checked, let's say now I've got some data into my physical count data entry. As I go and try to generate a new one, I'm going to get an email to me and warning message that there is already one out there. Are you sure you want to create new one? So this way you know that there is one out there. Maybe you forgot to update from yesterday, and you can go and take care of that first one. Then you can go and generate again. So the system will give you those warnings. The email option, you have a place where you can put the email recipients, multiple people here, and there are some other options as far as do you want them to see the frozen quantity or not, the item status, and extended description. So if you check those when it sends out an email, it will include that information into the email. Any questions so far? I'll continue demonstration process. Okay. Quickly here, that a lot of people are asking, okay, how can we sort the data? So this grid is has the ability that you can click on the column of each grid cell, and it's going to sort by that cell. So if I'm sorting by the cost, it automatically refreshes and sorting the grid by the cost. So if I would like to say, okay, give me the items, for example, that are the cost is greater than $1,000, I will be able to enter this information and then hit enter. And these are my items that are over $1,000. And then I will be able to click on that and quickly assign them into the category. One of them is I'm just going to assign to be counted 5 times a year. So just wanted to demonstrate another easy feature of finding an item into your items list and then assigning them. It's always good to look into this section here. It tells you how many records you filtered out of your total number of records and how many you have selected that the update is going to take place. So these are all helpful options that here that we kind of going to be able to see it. As I'm done already with the assigning into my categories, I'm ready to move into the manual generation process. You typically will not click on this button. This is just mainly for the demonstration purposes and also like on demand if you need to run it. So if I click on manual generation now, I'm not going to save this data. It's going to say, do you want to generate into 00 warehouse? If I say yes, I should be getting a warning message, and at the same time an email is being sent to me as well that physical count for warehouse 00 already exists. The generation process has been interrupted. That basically because on my options I told them do not insert into the existing one. So in other words, give me a warning. Don't go forward with that process. Here, because I had this program that already loaded with the data. So if I go into physical count worksheet and I can clear this data quickly, clear frozen items, preview. Okay, so now I go back into my physical count entry. I select the warehouse 00, and this is empty right now. And I'll go back into my cycle count, and I push the manual generation. Say yes on the confirmation. So now it's going to be sending the data to my cycle count. It will at the same time send an email to me saying that the cycle count has been generated for you. And then when we go back into the cycle count entry program and we bring up this program and we select the 00 warehouse, then we will see the items that are in the list that needs to be counted today. And as I go and update these items, it will record the last count date for the item itself. Next time by warehouse code, and next time when you do run, then we have to kind of go and generate that as well.